A great season finale manages to bring the entire story to a satisfying close, giving closure to the various characters and also to those who had spent the previous seasons investing emotional energy in their friendships and romances. Unfortunately, it is very often the case that even very strong and exciting television series find themselves unable to stick to the landing. For better or worse, many series are defined by their endings. Here is the list of the top 10 most disappointing conclusions in television series. Welcome to The Ardent Blogger, a channel for all the curiosity lovers who want to know something different every day. Today, we are back with an amazing video. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you are missing out a lot. Number 10. Roseanne. For much of its run, Roseanne was one of the best sitcoms of the 1990s. With its focus on a blue-collar family and their very real struggles, it was unlike almost anything else seen on television. Unfortunately, it started to lose its way in the final season, and the finale, in particular, strained the credulity of its audience. In this case, neither Roseanne nor the other characters of the series seemed quite like themselves, and it essentially left viewers confused about what they had just seen. Number 9. Dexter. It's easy to see why Dexter would often be regarded as one of the best series. After all, with its focus on a serial killer who takes the lives of those he deems to be evil, it raised important questions about the nature of morality. However, its ending, which was highly ambiguous, seemed to many viewers to be a major disappointment. In this case, the obvious sentimentality of the finale, which sees Dexter having survived his supposed death, feels like a betrayal of what came before. Number 8. How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother is, for some, one of the paradigmatic examples of a terrible finale. It seems to jettison all the character growth that had happened in the final season, and it is one that has left a bad taste in the mouths of its viewers ever since. Though some might find the main character's ultimate reunion with Robin to be emotionally satisfying, many of even the series' biggest fans felt it was a weak way to end an otherwise successful series. Number 7. Seinfeld. Seinfeld is indisputably one of the best sitcoms of all time. After all, it managed to take its central conceit, that it's a show about nothing, and transform it into something sublimely funny in its ability to capture the absurdity of everyday life. However, its finale, which shows the main characters on trial and features testimony from many of those they have wronged, feels like a weak way to end its run. In attempting to expose the four main characters for the vain, shallow, terrible people they were, the finale ultimately lacked the emotional closure many people associate with a good finale. Number 6. Parks and Recreation. Parks and Recreation remains both one of Michael Schur's best shows and also one of the most feel-good series of all time. In part, the finale's lackluster narrative is a function of the time jump that was the setup for the final season in general. Too much character development was lost in the intervening time, which kept the finale from landing with quite the emotional punch that most viewers, already familiar with the series' sentimental attitude, were most likely expecting. Number 5. Game of Thrones. Throughout its run, Game of Thrones was regarded as one of the best series on HBO. However, the final season began to make some very questionable narrative choices, and this culminated in the finale, which rushed to get all the characters to where they needed to be, leaving characterization and development strewn in its wake. Indeed, it is shocking the degree to which the series and its creators essentially jettisoned all the goodwill that they have managed to build up, thus sentencing the series as a whole to near oblivion. Number 4. Quantum Leap. There are many reasons why Quantum Leap is often regarded as one of the best series of the 1980s. Couched within its strange conceit of a man who travels through time trying to return to his own, there is a profound rumination on the nature of free will and the changeability of history. Of course, the finale was a botched attempt to both give some closure and also leave enough room for a potential follow-up season. Given how beloved the series was and remains, it's particularly disappointing that its main character was never given the closure he deserves. Number 3. Shameless. Shameless is without a doubt one of the best series. With its unflinching depiction of the nature of white poverty in the US, as well as its bleak and biting sense of humor, it is a showcase for how drama and comedy can be expertly blended into a coherent whole. For many, however, the finale was a bit of a misfire. Of all the characters, only Frank received any closure, and even his was marred by his death, which feels more than a little forced. Number 2. Star Trek Enterprise. Star Trek remains one of Hollywood's most beloved franchises, and it has had an almost unparalleled ability to reboot itself for each generation. Star Trek Enterprise, a prequel to the original series. The finale, however, seemed to spoil the pleasure that many took in the show. As with so many other shows, it leans on a time jump that sacrifices the character development in the pursuit of closure, and it ultimately fails to live up to the series' general potential. Number 1. True Blood. Whatever its failings, True Blood was, for at least the first half of its run, one of the best series about vampires. As it went on, however, it slowly became unmoored from even its own mythology, seeming to invent new things for its characters to do. The finale, in particular, was particularly egregious, as it rushed to give at least a bit of closure to what had been a particularly wacky final season. Given how popular the series was in its heyday, it was particularly disappointing to see it go out in such a threadbare fashion. We are glad you have made till the end. We have handpicked the videos which we recommend you watch next. Feel free to talk to us on our social media channels or on our website theardentblogger.com about any recommendations or suggestions.